Chapter 2, Backlash, written by Charles W. Mills, speaks about how whites monopolize our political system and how this works to create an illusion of white superiority in our nation. Mills' piece describes the idea that many racial groups, specifically African Americans, are regarded as disposable in our society, and a lot of this has to do with the fact that political theorists do not expect non-whites in political work, nor their input. Further, African Americans are not being given an equal amount of say on what is constitutionalized in our society. This lack of diversity in something as significant as our political system is an arising issue in our nation. Quoted in this chapter is Arnold Toynbee, who says that anyone in our nation who is not white should be considered a native because they are seen as wild animals infesting the country in which we happen to come across. Toynbee's statement is an abomination. Toynbee and other advocates for racial inequality causes our nation to digress in terms of the progress we've made toward equal rights. Without diversity, specifically within our political system, we will not be able to utilize contrasting perspectives and will struggle to make any further progress as a society. I will tie together ideas in Chapter 2 and to Chapter 5, Shame vs. White Guilt, written by Daniel Haggerty. Haggerty explains how truly different the emotions of guilt and shame are, though most do not realize. When one feels guilt, there is a feeling that a punishment is deserved for the wrongdoing committed. After a punishment is received, however, the person feels as though they are absolved for their wrongdoing and absolved from their feelings of guilt in general. When one feels shame, however, there is a difference in their action from what might have made them feel guilt. With shame, one does not feel as though there is something as tangible as a punishment that they can be given to pardon them, but rather they have violated their internal value system. When one feels shame for a wrongdoing, this will cause them to improve as a person, and very rarely this person will repeat the action that made them feel shame. When considering these two articles together, we may be able to relate the lack of racial diversity in our polity to the idea that we as a nation are not feeling shame for certain actions that lead us to discriminate against a variety of racial groups, specifically African Americans. We as a nation do not seem to feel shame when it comes to the treatment of certain racial groups, specifically African Americans, although we really should. It is thought that moral shame is what builds a society, so if we work to develop standards that place a high importance on racial equality, we will be blinded to the difference of skin color. If this were to happen, we would be able to see each individual's ability as equal, disregarding race as a determining factor. If we change the moral standards maintained by society, we will see a more diverse set of authoritative figures in our nation.